welcome to the Pixel Scandal Nerdcast, episode 47. I'm Kurt.
Dang.
Are you guys gonna?
That's Oreztes.
You gonna say your names?
It's not me. It's
You're next.
Kurt.
Or
End of line. Handor.
Nope.
Incorrect. Wait, am I looking at the wrong dog?
No, you are correct. And I'm Gigett, because I'm at the end. And Oreztes introduced everyone else but me.
Well, because I stopped at me.
Yeah.
Because
You're like, I am in the right order here.
Someday this will happen.
Someday we'll get it right.
Yeah, 47. I was right. You guys were going.
It's just this is not how it is in the
So
canon.
tonight's
motherfucker.
spotlight
Handor
topic.
had the wrong doc open.
Yep, it was Handor. It's all Handor's fault. Tonight's spotlight topic is going to be on gaming hardware. We don't mean dice, we mean computers for video games.
Oh my god, if this was about dice, I would have so much more to say.
You would have so much show and tell. You would be like, and this one, and this one.
This one is metal, but this one is also metal.
And this one is purple. End of line. Would you like to shoot us some announcements, please?
Sure.
Yeah, could you distract him, please? Because he's been busy. Never mind. Go ahead.
Okay. Our next Dungeon World game is Saturday, April 13th.
Yay.
That'll be at 9 a.m., our normal scheduled time for our Dungeon World games.
Yes.
Our next Paper Scandal side quest is going to be Saturday, April 27th, also at 9 a.m., and that's going to be Dialect, which is going to be run by our guest GM Yoshi.
Woo!
Yay.
Yeah, so April 27th, 9 a.m. Big announcement is that we mentioned this on our last week's show, but we just want to make sure everyone is aware. Our show is going to be moving to a new date and time starting on April 14th. We are going to be moving from our Saturday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time over to Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's going to be starting on April 14th. So our next week's show will be at our normal scheduled time tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Saturday. And then the week after, on the 14th, we will be switching over to Sunday at 1 p.m.
Yes.
That's what we got going on?
Yeah, which is super awesome sauce. So cool. Let's move into what we're excited about. So Night Sun's not here tonight, but I believe he put this on the doc that Hellboy comes out on April 12th, which is awesome because
We should go see that.
we should all go.
I thought you were saying you were excited that Night Sun wasn't here.
No,
Night Sun?
I was like,
no,
that-
Night Sun is with
What are we
Mom
excited
and Nan.
about? Night Sun isn't here. Yay!
Night Sun and
Ooh.
Adam Savage will be the two people that'll be excited about that coming out.
Oh,
Hellboy?
I'm looking forward
I'm excited
to it.
about it.
Why? Just because you want Adam Savage to make another prop or something?
Well, he. I don't know.
And next weekend, it's not on the thing, but doesn't Shazam come out next weekend?
I don't know.
I think it comes
I-
out.
By
on
the way,
fifth.
Zachary Levi is looking bulk, man.
Well, he probably had to get beefed up for it.
I was gonna say,
So
yeah.
that apparently comes out on the 5th.
That's
So
a big difference
Friday.
between seeing him on Chuck and seeing the previews for Shazam. I'm like, holy, what happened to my little Zachary Levi from Chuck?
Yeah. So cool. Those are awesome movies coming out
next
in April.
weekend. Yep.
I mean, there's other movies coming out in April that I'm sure we'll talk about a lot more as we get closer. But Hellboy and Shazam, man. Super exciting. The next thing on our list I put on here, so you can get Switch Online, not Twitch, Switch Online for free if you have Amazon Prime. So you subscribe for 3 months, and then into 3 months, you subscribe for another 6 months. So you end up getting a year, or 9 months. Anyway, you can end up getting a whole year of Switch Online free with Prime.
What is that?
Yeah, but then I have to go buy a Switch.
Free
What
is
is
the best
Switch?
way.
I have a Switch.
You talking about Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, you can get a year of their free online, not their free. You can get a year free of their online service, which has like games and downloadable DLC and connecting to other people who have Switches and all that kind of junk. So
I guess I need to buy a Switch because I can't.
You don't.
How could I Oh, okay.
our kid is
Moose.
our pug is snoring. Our kid is actually really excited about this because he plays a lot of Smash Bros. And I guess there's a lot of online Smash Bros. Stuff. So,
Yeah.
anyway, if you have a Switch and you want and you have Prime and you want their online service, you can get it for free for a year by going to the link that will be in the show doc or the link that's currently in chat.
Yeah, I dropped that in chat.
Yeah. So the last thing I'm excited about is like super important, guys, because it's my birthday week. I'm so excited. My birthday's coming this week, which means I don't get one day, I get a whole week. I hope Kurt knows that.
Yeah, I'm aware.
One present per day per week.
Yeah. Yep. One surprise every day.
Can the present include
Surprise!
It's Monday. Surprise! Dirty dishes.
Can it
Hey,
be
you
like
woke up. Surprise! I didn't kill you in your sleep.
some good old vitamin D in a box?
Vitamin P, Handor. Vitamin D is actually a thing.
I don't know about that one, guys. I don't know how I feel about that.
No surprise vitamin D.
No surprise vitamin D.
Put it in a box.
It is also our child's birthday because we have the same birthday. So this week is super totes fun. It's birthday week in the pie in our house. And where are we cutting that out?
In the pie.
In the pie.
Birthday week in the pie.
You know what?
Echo location.
Our kid actually asked for cheesecake pie for birthday instead of cake this year.
That's cheesecake pie?
Cheesecake pie?
Cheesecake.
No, cheesecake.
Well, he prefers cheese pie, but he's getting a cheesecake because
What the f is cheese pie?
I'll make you one. It's super good.
Yeah, like the
Along with those
cookies
cookies
that
I owe
sent
you.
me?
Yep.
Somebody's dog's going bananas.
Yep. So cool. Anyway, so somebody's excited
That'd
about
be
something
Walter.
else on here.
Yeah, somebody's got stuff on here. Whose dog?
I am
Kill the dog.
excited. I am so sorry. There they go.
Okay.
I'm excited for Mortal Kombat 11. I've been watching a lot of stuff on it the last 2 months or so, and I finally got my pre-order in. Oddly enough, my favorite thing about the Mortal Kombat games, at least the last 3, has been the story mode of the game, because it's actually a lot of fun to play through and do the story mode. It's kind of it's kind of similar to what they did with Smash Brothers. That's everyone's kind of raving about. That the storyline that you play through is actually a lot of fun. Well, this game's like that too. So I'm actually excited to play through it in single player and kind of do the story and everything. Fun game.
Nice.
Matt and I, Handor and I played the last one quite a bit on PC.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yep.
Nice.
And then he got really good and whooped my ass all the time, and I didn't feel like playing anymore.
And then he stopped playing.
Yeah.
Cool. So who had a stroke in
That was me.
Okay.
Can you guess what I'm excited about?
No.
It says Dende.
Dindy.
No, it says Dende.
D&D.
Dende
excited.
is
So-
the little child Namek from the planet Namek when they had to go get the Namekian Dragon Balls.
That's not
He
the Dundees.
He fused with Nail.
So I get to be in a D&D game, like a legit D&D game
He
coming
does.
up. So Christopher Gray is gonna do a D&D game with some folks, and he's gonna stream it because he wants to start streaming D&D stuff. So I'm gonna be a player in that game, and I'm so
Why
excited
D&D?
about it.
Why is
Playing a
Christopher
mod,
Gray
or-
doing D&D?
It's the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, I think is the name of the mod. It's,
Sure, but why
it's
is
like
he
the
doing
newest one.
D&D? I'm
'Cause
still
he-
very
Because
confused.
people
why
like
he's-
more than one thing.
No, okay, but Christopher Gray just did a Kickstarter, right? Am I thinking of somebody different?
No,
No,
you're
he's
thinking of
So
a
he
person.
also writes D&D products and sells them on DM's Guild, and he's writing
Oh.
a setting, like a standalone D&D setting. And so he
Leave him alone, Oreztes.
he
Jeez.
is
No,
He's
I'm
like
just
an
running
onion.
some-
He has
some,
layers.
I'm just saying.
he's
I'm
like
just
an
saying,
ogre.
Ooh.
Great American Novel is way better than D&D. Why is he wasting his time
forgot
on the
all the
inferior
new-
product?
No, I
forgot
completely
that all
agree
the
with
new
you,
mods are
Oreztes. I completely agree with you, hands down.
So
Would
right
you-
now, everything in 5th edition right now is all water deep, right? Like that's
Yeah.
the kind of thing right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was Dragon Heist and then Dungeon of the Mad Mage. I don't know a ton about
Dun-
it.
Dungeon of the Man Mage?
Mad
Mad Mage.
Mad Mage.
You guys are gonna play
Man
filthy at PixelCon, but you're going to play it as dogs.
We're gonna play Dungeons and Doggies. And if you follow us on like
fine.
Twitter and Instagram, I posted the picture of the first mini Gigett painted today. The Cornelius, the golden retriever wizard.
It's so cute.
I refuse to follow you on either of those platforms.
Him's real good. Him's a good boy.
Him's a real good boy, guys. This is so cute. But yeah, so Kurt, where is that game going to be streamed so folks can go watch it next weekend?
I don't know.
I don't
But
know.
I will know before then. So what you should do is you should go to twitter.com/pixelscandal and follow, and I will tweet a link when I know what his stream is called.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Because I don't know what his stream is right now.
So cool.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm
well,
so
let's-
excited. I'm going to play the Artificer, which is the new UA Artificer. So
Sweet. I'm
What
sure
are
we
the
will hear
rules for-
much more about your character.
What are the rules for breaking magic wands?
Ooh.
I don't know what the rules are for breaking magic wands, but I do know that I can conjure a bag of holding. So if someone else already has one, we can pop it.
Okay,
Well, cool.
is that still a thing in 5th ed?
I think so.
Yep.
All right.
I mean, I can't imagine that's a fun way to play the game, but it's something that technically could
It's a
happen.
thing you could do. So let's move into what we played recently. So you guys have been playing Division 2. How's it going? Is it still going well?
It's going very well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We were
as a
talking
matter of
about
fact,
that before the stream, so let's move on to the next one because nobody cares.
well, let's talk a little bit about the fact that right now we're just running around doing stuff to get blueprints, and then shortly here we're moving from World Tier 4, which is the current level cap is 30. Then your gear is considered based on a world tier, and then you move into World Tier 5 by getting better gear and pushing yourself into a higher world tier, which will release on Friday, April the
5th? I think it's the 5th.
5th.
Friday is the 5th.
Yeah.
I know that because this whole week's my birthday, guys, which means one of the days in the next 5 days is my birthday.
Jeez. By the way, I want to say this while it's on my brain dome. Everybody knows, well, everybody that's watched knows that I am, because of my gracious friends, am flying out to California, and we're going to have a lot of fun and do things and whatnot and have you. And I'm also going to build a gaming table. And today I had the idea, why don't we, while I'm there, I need you guys to look up a place that's going to be able to take felt, and of course you're going to want to choose the color of felt that you want, and put the Pixel Scandal logo onto the felt so that when the camera's down facing on it,
That is a really good idea, and I think I actually know where we can get that done.
it's going to look amazing.
I'm super
All
excited.
right, and yeah, moving on.
Cool. So Kurt, you've been playing Slay the Spire.
Yeah, I have. So Slay
Super
the
boring.
Spire's-
What's the next one?
Slay the
Yeah.
Spire's an older game.
It's also Kurt's.
Yeah, it's also me. So Slay the Spire is it's a deck building game where like roguelike, where you like move up this spire, going through rooms and fighting and shit, and building your deck out of random available cards. And
Super
I finally,
RNG, right?
yeah, it's super RNG. But I made it to the top of the spire. So did it.
Woohoo!
Nice.
I mean, it's not the kind of game where you beat it when you make it to the top of the spire. Like you just get there and it's like.
Yep, that's what the top looks like.
You did 600 damage. So far, a total of 1 trillion damage has been done to this part by other players. And you're like, oh, okay. It's the kind of game where you're supposed to like go and try to get the best run you can and get more unlocks and stuff. But yeah, I've been having fun playing that.
Cool.
And then my next thing is Forest Mother, which is my story game about forest spirits who defend the forest from dangers that threaten it. And I got to facilitate it today. I played it in Gauntlet Games Now. So if you're familiar with the Gauntlet, there is a monthly sort of games on demand that happens over there, and I facilitated that game with some really fun players. I had a good group, and we sort of went through and made our things, and we had these cool. One of the standout characters was Rocky, which was just a rock monster from the quarry, who ultimately ended up being the new Forest Mother. They got voted as the coolest Forest Mother. But I had just watched Into the Spider-Verse, and so all of my stuff was spider themed because that's what was going on in my brain.
Great movie, isn't it?
Oh my gosh,
it's such
so
a good movie.
Finally saw it this weekend.
But yeah, I was really happy with the way the game went. Pretty much everything functions the way I wanted it to. Some of the mechanics, we had more players than I've play tested it with before, and so the game went a little longer, and we ended up with a lot of like the numbers got really big because it's sort of you take cards and the value of those cards, compare them against each other. And so the math got too much. Like it was, we were like trying to count up to like 56, adding up the value of cards, and it felt fiddly and not like it was too much. And so there's some minor tweaks I want to make to sort of figure out how I can simplify that math, but also make it feel a little like make it quicker and just make it so you're not like doing math at the end, which was still cool.
Cool.
Players do not get bonuses for making animal noises in character. That's just part of the fun. That is its own reward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, while you were doing that, I was playing Mario Rabbids, which is a mashup of Mario games and Rabid games, which, of course, I had all of the Rabid games on the Wii back in the day. But they made like a mashup game where you're like, you have a team of Mario plus like either other Mario characters or other Rabbids that are dressed up like Mario characters. And the whole game is solving puzzles and like turn-based combat type stuff. And so, yeah, I bought it on Mario Day, which is March 10th. And it was half price, which is the only way I would have bought it. But it ended up being like super fun. Our teenager is lost like several days into that game now because that's his favorite kind of game is like turn-based combat. I think Kurt and Nightson and he were playing Shadowrun. Thank you. Yeah, we're playing Shadowrun, which is that same like turn-based combat type video game, and that's like the minute he sat down to play it, he was like, "Oh, this is exactly the kind of game I love playing." I was like, "Oh shit,
Then
I didn't even."
You should get him Disgaea.
I don't know what that is.
It's probably another turn-based strategy game. It's
Or Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, I was gonna say he needs. I kept suggesting that he go grab Final Fantasy Tactics off of the online shop.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But yeah, it's super fun. It's got like a story mode thing. Basically, the Rabbids have destroyed all of like Peach's castle, of course, and so you're trying to like put the world back together. But it also has like a versus part where you build a team and the other player builds a team and you turn-based combat against each other. But that part isn't nearly as fun as the story part because I don't like PvP. So
And then Mario uses a gun.
Mario uses a gun and a giant hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's super fun. It is very fun. So, if you like Rabbids and you like Mario, there you go.
Are you meaning to say rabbits?
No,
No.
Rabbids.
Okay.
Rabbids.
What is that, like rabid rabbits?
Yes. They're
It's with a D. It's a
yeah,
character.
Rabbids. They're insane alien rabbits that
They're like
came-
really crazy.
yeah.
They're from, where are they from? Like Rayman or something?
Rayman. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Rayman is where they came from. But yeah. How do Shadowrun PC games compare to? Well, Shadowrun, the PC game, got discontinued. They they lost their funding,
They lost their license.
their license, and shut down.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch that, you can go back and watch episodes on our YouTube channel of Kurt and Nightson and our mini-me playing that game.
Yeah, we played several episodes of Boston Lockdown, which I think ended up on our YouTube.
It
So
is
you
on
should-
the
You should be
YouTube
able
channel.
to go back in our YouTube and find that to sort of get a feel for it. But that was the multiplayer version. But there are several solo games that have pretty decent storylines.
Shadowrun Returns, and then the Dragonfall and Hong Kong expansions
Yeah.
are the ARPG top down. It's like the old. It kind of runs like the old Fallout, old top down Fallout and Shadowrun game, really.
Yeah.
But I know Night Sun's played through them, and he really enjoyed them. He's the big Shadowrun player. He said they were really good.
Yeah, they're pretty solid. They do a pretty good job with the class stuff. It doesn't. I don't know what you mean like Syndicate, but yeah, they're really fun. So if you get a chance to check them out, I would recommend them.
Handor doesn't care about your conversation.
Apparently not.
If you like that type of game style too, I would highly recommend Torment: Tides of Numenera.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
What was that one, Tyler? Torment Tides of what?
Tides of Numenera.
Okay.
Tides of Numenera. It's the Monty
Numenera.
Cook tabletop game.
Well, cool. Game. Well, let's move into our spotlight topic for tonight, which was submitted by Handor. So why don't you go ahead and take it away and get this conversation started?
Me?
Yeah, you'd be Handor.
Okay, so I guess the whole idea of the topic was predicated on the fact that I think all of us here are constantly under the pressure of, every 5 or 6 years or so needing to upgrade your PC so that you're capable of playing Far Cry, 16 or, any of the new games with crazy graphics and so on and so forth. Not to mention being able to keep up with, as we age, being able to keep up with the younger crowd with any mechanical advantage we can find. So yeah, I just kind of had this idea to talk about gaming hardware in general, especially for PCs, and what makes a good gaming PC.
Real easy, guys. Everyone should just buy Alienware and be done with it.
That's terrible advice.
Wrap it up.
What does it take to
let's
really
wrap it up?
I mean, obviously, like normal gamers like us are not going to be able to have like the top end whatever like every time something new comes out. So what does it take really to stay relevant enough to be able to play that like the new content that's coming out?
Well, if you're asking me, I would say honestly, it doesn't take too much. If you have the capacity to save some money, and especially with the onset of places like iBuyPower and stuff like that opening up, to where you're not being pigeonholed into companies like Alienware, who are charging ridiculous prices for a product that is something you could easily learn to do by your on your own.
We rebuilt our kid's computer last year, and when he was like, "Oh, for my birthday, I'd like a new computer," he said he's like an Alienware or something. We both just laughed and we're like, "Yeah, no, you're not getting an Alienware, but you're gonna have a great computer when this is over.
It's gonna be better than an Alienware."
Yeah, just not without that price tag.
It's like buying Beats or Nike, right? You're buying a logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely buying a logo. And on top of that, when you buy stuff like that from places like that, they're loading it with bloatware. And when you get to install your own hardware and software, you're literally deciding what is going to take up that hard drive space so that it's not being what's the word I'm looking for? It's not being slowed down by what's the Norton or
right.
You could get a lightweight antivirus like Avast or anything else. But yeah, so I would say overall what it would take to really kind of keep up every 6 years or so is I would say between, and you can obviously agree or disagree in the line. But I would say between $1,400 and $2,000 is going to get you pretty much everything you need for the next 6 years.
So let's say you're at the end of that 6 years, right?
Yeah.
What is your, like, obviously, like, some people won't be able to sit down and drop that kind of money all at once. So what would be your first, like, step into, okay, I have to upgrade my computer. Where am I going to start? Is it going to be processor? Is it going to be, video card? Like, where do we start?
So that's where the difficulty lies, right? So if you are running a computer and you every computer is going to be maxed out by its weakest component, and a lot of times that's going to be whatever motherboard was installed when you got that computer. So if all things play out well, you're going to be able to upgrade pretty much anything you want. RAM, the CPU, the GPU, cooling, any of that is all going to be upgradable through the foreseeable future. But every now and then, you'll run into the problem where they decide to make it so that you can no longer have a CPU chip that fits the socket type that you're running, and the PCI Express slot is different, and you have to change from what's the wire they use now? The fire wire. You have to change from
USB-C?
like FireWire. Yeah. But forgoing all of that, all those changes happening, you're going to want to make the decision of what you upgrade first based on what it is that is the limiting factor of you playing the game. So if you are trying to play a game and you're maxing out your cores and your CPU is, getting maxed out, then obviously your first thing that you're going to want to upgrade is going to be your CPU. And that is the heart and soul of what your computer is, essentially. But if it's just a couple of issues with like frames or whatever else, then maybe you want to upgrade your GPU just a little bit and see where that gets you.
So right now at this time, I know that like the four of you guys are all running, at least moderate to better gear in your computer. So what video cards are you running? And is there a specific, I know that there's like various different companies that make video cards, right? And some video games run better on different cards, and certain cards have different issues. And so do you guys have like a specific video card that like, this is the one I'm always going to stick with because it doesn't have these problems or that or whatever? Is there a faithfulness to video cards like that, or is it whatever's relevant?
I would assume, I'm going to make a guess that Endo, you're probably running an NVIDIA GeForce 1080. Yep. So I think a lot of us over the years have found that GeForce makes a, why am I farting on words so bad? You can rely on them. You know what I mean? They're and even if you get what a DOA video card, their customer support is the return policies are great.
Yeah, I think Kurt, you're running a GeForce too as well, right?
Yeah, I switched to NVIDIA this time around. I've historically been AMD for everything, but I noticed I was getting more and more problems playing betas. I feel like a lot of games that are out as a beta, they go NVIDIA first and then they fix for AMD later. And there were a lot of games that I just could not play until they were launched, and maybe a week into that first thing, or especially not early. I wasn't going to be able to play them. And so when I switched to the NVIDIA card, I haven't had any problems since.
Right.
Yep.
But yeah, I think I'm on a 1070, but that's because I don't have 4K, so there's no need to go 1080 for me.
Yeah, and Endo, you can back me up on this. I'm sure there's a couple other companies that if people, find a deal, there's a few other places that I find to be as reliable, and I don't necessarily would put one over the other, actually. So I think Gigabyte makes a really good video card. I don't know what Endo thinks about Gigabyte, but Gigabyte makes a pretty reliable video card. And then there was one other one. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Yep.
EVGA is actually really good.
That's what I've usually gone with.
Yeah.
With video cards, you don't really need to worry too much about them. It's not really terribly relevant because it's really just a packaging thing. Most of what you're buying hardware-wise is the same. NVIDIA will sell the core video card to a vendor. The vendor will repackage it and put a different like cooling unit on it and whatnot. But the actual video card is the video card. You're still buying the same video card no matter what the vendor. So if you can get a better bargain from one, and you don't really care about things like warranty or return policy or upgrades, then just go with the cheapest one. If you do care about those things, I think most people who have kind of done this a lot kind of favor EVGA. And the reason people favor EVGA is because they have a very good return policy, and they also have what's called a step-up program. So if they release a video card that is better and you want to spend a little extra cash to upgrade and you just recently bought your video card, you can actually step up your video card, return it, and pay a little extra and get a new video card, which is how I got my 1080. I upgraded from a 1050 to a 1080 for about $100 back when they were 350, and then they blew up to like 600 because of the Bitcoin farming and whatnot.
Oh,
but I did that because of
Thankfully, that price has come down quite a bit in the last year. But man, it was awful.
I bought a video card, and like literally 2 months later, they announced the 1080 Founders card, which is what I have. And they were like, "Hey, you want to?" And I was like, "Hey, man, I want to do the 1080." So I literally called, and they're like, "Yeah, no problem. Once we get the 1080, call us, and then we'll cross ship." And that's what I did.
Yeah. Of course, just real quick. Of course, you're going to find small variances if you go to places like, and of course, again, we've been doing this a long time. And if you go to places like Tom's Hardware, right? I'm sure a lot of you probably visit the site to check out the rating systems. And even though it's obviously the same video card packaged with a different cooler or whatever aesthetically has changed, sometimes those things do clock a little differently. So if you're real crazy and finicky about, and you have OCD about having the best, or you are looking for something more middle of the road because you don't want to spend that money, Tom's Hardware is a real good place to find out what you're getting and at what price point it sets at in that range.
We're speaking from a builder's perspective. I think the first step you have to decide on is if that's something you want to mess around with or not.
Oh yeah.
If you don't feel comfortable with that, then this is all irrelevant, right? At that point, it becomes shopping for a pre-built computer. And if you are someone that is not technically savvy, I'll be honest, you might want to go with something a little lighter in the power department and a little bit more robust in the warranty department. Maybe it's worth getting a 1050 instead of a 1070 if you can plug an extra year or two on that warranty. If you just don't want to deal with it, because computers have problems. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I did with my current machine. Because my previous two computers before this one, I built them myself. And this time I was just like, I don't really want to go through the hassle. And iBuyPower was having like a super good sale on this one that I got. And it just came with like a 1050 in it. But I've been using it for like 3 years, and it's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with it. It runs everything on high quality, real good.
Yeah.
And it was like $800 on clearance. It was like a $1,500 machine that they were having on clearance because it was like, hey, we got the new models in. This is our old retired model. And I was like, I don't care.
Yeah. Every 2 years, if you have a decent monitor and you don't have that cost incurrence, you can pretty much get away with a $600, $800 computer every 2 to 3 years if it's worth the investment to you.
Yeah. But I will say,
and if you're not, you can piecemeal some parts.
Yeah, but if your GPU doesn't have like at least red or blue LEDs on it, you're my benchmark scores.
Okay, that's the thing. Like both Kurt and I have really cool cases that have really cool lights on them, and I would much rather.
You're probably pushing like 1,000 frames.
Oh yeah,
right? Like 1,000 FPS with those lights.
But I would much rather go in and replace everything inside my case than buy a new computer because it's just so pretty.
Well, you can do that.
And I've already, I rebuilt the kids, and I helped Kurt rebuild his, so I already know how to do it, so it's not going to, take forever to redo mine.
Building computers nowadays is, so easy.
It's like plug and play almost.
Everything's color-coded.
It really is.
Yeah.
Building a computer is much easier than it was, but by no means is it easy. I'm sorry.
Okay, building the computer is
for a
easy.
layman person to still do.
Putting the whole thing together is pretty easy. Getting it to run after you put everything together is a different story.
I have built probably in my lifetime at least 500 or 600 computers. I'm not kidding. I used to do bench building back in the old Pentium days. And I can tell you, Nightson and I built his last gaming rig, and I think he's in chat. I think it still took me 2.5 hours to build the entire thing, do proper cable management, get all the things installed properly, drivers, operating system, the works. It still took 2.5 hours. Yeah. I would not want to put someone through that if they're not really comfortable and want to do it. Like, you have to be like, I want to do this because I want to learn how. I'm going to save some money, and by doing it myself, I can get a better computer, because that's ultimately what it boils down to. If you're buying an iBuyPower computer, By the way, you can get a decent PC for $800, but let's be honest, Oreztes, if you hadn't spent $800 on that computer, you probably could have spent $600, built it yourself, and got a 1070 or
had I not spent $800 on this computer, I would have spent $800 on just the GPU.
Maybe.
Nightson's in chat, and he said 90% of our time was spent with cable management to make it pretty. Oh my gosh.
I'm pretty anal about cable management.
When we were doing Kurt's computer, I swear, replacing the power supply and doing cable management took way more time.
I don't know what you're talking about. We just jammed all those cables into every available nook and cranny.
That's only a thing if you get a case with a window in. If you get a solid case, who cares?
Who gives a shit?
Just stuff it in there. Just stuff it in there.
I got a window, but you can't see the cables. They're black.
I'll be honest, cable management does matter from a cooling standpoint.
It does.
It does.
It really
does.
Also, so listen, people. What you need to do is you make sure if you try building your own PC, or no, because if somebody builds it for you, it's going to be taken care of, and they'll put a modular power supply in it anyways. But if you're going to build your own PC, modular power supply.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
no question.
So
if you're going to build your own computer, there are a billion resources on the YouTubes that will walk you through every single
Did you
process.
just fucking say on the YouTubes?
What
are you pushing 60?
Yeah, my absolute favorite resource for building a new machine is PC Part Picker.
PC Part Picker, 100%.
Yeah.
It'll even take care of your power management too. Like if you pick a power supply, it'll tell you if you have enough power to support the device that you have. If there's any issues with a particular device you're using on your computer and the firmware or BIOS on your motherboard, it will say, hey, just so you know, this particular RAM has a weird interaction with this motherboard.
Yep.
They know that information. So definitely build it out on PC Part Picker.
Yeah, it gives you an order, and it's like start off with the motherboard, and then it just won't even show devices that aren't compatible.
Correct.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So it's
great.
Awesome.
And to echo that with Handor saying, you want to use PC Part Picker, but you do want to use that with what are called benchmark.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason the benchmarking is important is because you want to see how much the extra money is really going to contribute to your overall power. There's diminishing returns, significant diminishing returns when you start getting into the upper early adopter kind of hardware, like the 1080. Would I have bought a 1080 if I wasn't trading in my 1050 and got a really good deal? Probably not, because it was like a $450, $600, $500 video card at the time. Right. I didn't need something necessarily that strong, but I got a really good deal on it. Would I have bought a 1080 whenever the Bitcoin thing happened? Hell to the no. I would have had a 1050 and just deal with it. Like, I literally deal with it.
I literally went without a computer for a year and a half because I was just not dealing with $1,000
impossible.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, the human eye can only see 30 frames per second, so you really don't need.
Oh my God! Stop throwing that shit around.
When we were building Kurt's computer, we had bought everything to put in it, and we were like, "Oh, we'll do this Saturday morning." And so we stick it on the dining room table. We took everything out. We put everything new in, and then it was at that point that we realized he needed a new power supply. But it was like a half an hour until this show.
Yeah.
And so we had to quickly put all of his old pieces back in his computer so we could run the podcast that night.
Wow.
And then go buy a new power supply the next day. We were like, oh shit.
I'm like 80% sure that the only sales that Best Buy makes on computer parts are from people who have their computers stripped on their kitchen table and they're like, shit.
I have to get something now.
Dude, two times.
Same day Prime, Bray.
Yeah. 2 times that happened to me. So I changed out my motherboard, And I was like, oh, well, I can just change out the motherboard and the CPU, and I'll just keep my old GPU and my RAM, and I'll get those later, right? Mm-hmm. So I looked it up. I swear, I could have sworn I looked everything up, and I was like, no, the GPU works. It's fine. I get it all in there, and then I realized, oh, yeah, this thing can't handle DDR3 RAM, and I had to drive to that fucking PC Connect store in Fresno and buy some RAM. And then the next time, I went and bought a graphics card and forgot to check my power supply. And so I drove up to the PC Connect store, bought a power supply that same day because it was open on the dining room table.
Yep.
You know, I have a buddy that his computer was like pushing 11, 12 years old.
Oof.
And it was making weird noises and stuff.
See, the potato isn't that old.
Yeah, man,
No,
that's called a modem. That's what we
Yeah.
use to get on the internet.
No, this thing sounded like it was like it was belt driven and shit. And every now and again,
Did it have RISC architecture?
Risk is
What's
good.
that? So he decides
I have
one
to put
day.
my 3.5 boot floppy in. Hold on a second.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, he still
You
had
got a
those,
crank
right?
on the side. You got a crank.
Yeah, it has to warm up. So when he starts it,
Oh my lord.
You have to type in win.exe.
it had the tubes in it, you know. So, anyways, he decides, to. And here's the thing:
Can I upgrade this?
Yeah, right.
Can I overclock this 46DX2?
Yeah. So, and the thing is when he decides to do something, he throws it on me the day he decides to do it. It's not like something he's been thinking about.
So he's your friend? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he's a buddy of mine. Totally throwing him under the bus right now. So he goes
turbo button.
the turbo. Oh, dude, they had those. So Rando's calling him out too. So he comes to me and he goes, I want to go build a computer today. And he takes me with him, knowing that I have computer building knowledge. And we go to this place and we're picking out parts. He's like, so what do you think I need? I said, well, I think you're going to want this motherboard, and I think you're going to want this at least this video card. And this is like right around the time of the 760s, so on and so forth, And I think the 760s were outperforming the 780s. And he's like, we get there and it's all too much for him. And he goes, he ends up just buying like this pre-built that this guy had in the thing. Mm-hmm. And it's a piece of shit.
And gateway computer.
And it got him. He got home and put like Minecraft on it, right? And it was fucking chugging along. And he had the thing for I think 3 months before he ended up dumping the thing and fucking building another one.
Well, I think that's important too. If you're gonna put money into buying a computer, like make sure you know what you're getting. Don't throw money at the wall and then hope something good's gonna come out of it. Like
the problem was you didn't convince him to upgrade to that Sound Blaster audio card. That's what the issue was.
Yeah.
Gigett, wasn't our first computer an E-machine?
Our first computer was an E-machine.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember y'all
100%.
We totally.
So we could play The Sims 2 on it.
Yeah.
So let's get into. Do we want to move into peripherals?
Yeah,
Yes.
let's for
talk
sure.
about peripherals.
Here's the only one that you'll ever need. Right here, it's this bad boy. It's got holes in it because it's green.
I was gonna say, ooh, look at it.
Why is it see-through?
So excited.
Oh, mine's green too.
Yeah, you need your orb weaver.
We
You
have
to
the
get
same
that.
color.
I don't know
You
if
got
I
the
can get to
mechanical
mine
buttons.
So that does bring up the G13 orb weaver keyboard debate when it comes to playing video games. I know
This one's easy.
Orb weaver's the best, hands down.
Here's the thing. It doesn't matter which one you use between all those. All I will say is that if you're someone that thinks that it's silly and you can't imagine why you'd ever use one and your keyboard works just fine, you're wrong. And
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that to be a
Like objectively.
I'm not saying that to be an asshole. It's just the truth is, if you're a gamer that plays games a lot, I cannot more strongly recommend that you invest
Just say
in
it,
something like it. Whether it be the
Handor,
Logitech version,
what do
the
you
Orb
use?
Weaver, whatever.
I do not use one.
should we lift up the things that we use?
Oreztes, do you recognize this? Do you recognize
Is that the one that I gave you?
this G13 from a million years ago that I still use?
because
Yeah,
I
refuse-
hated it. Because I got the old Orb Weaver when it was called in the Nostromo, and it went out on me, and I got a G13 because I was like, they're all the same. They're not the same.
I love this
Yeah.
G13. I will.
Oh
never
my
get
gosh!
rid of it.
Here's the thing.
I almost hang on, Endo. I'm gonna let you finish. The first, I almost just thanked Nightbot because I thought it was Night Sun. I was gonna be
For
like,
saying
thanks
to
a lot,
follow the
Night-
channel.
Yeah. Good call. Oh shit, that's Nightbot.
So as
Sorry,
I was
go
saying, the reason that you want to go with one of these, if for no other reason, is it's better for your wrist than
'Cause you're
using a
lazy.
keyboard. No, it's better for your wrist. If you're a gamer and you're younger and you're going to game a lot, I would highly recommend that you not use a keyboard because it's going to cause you wrist problems. I'm almost 40 years old, and I have already had one surgery on my wrist, and I will probably be going in for another one. If I were still using a normal keyboard, a non-ergonomic keyboard to game with, I'd be done. I probably wouldn't be able to game anymore. It's gotten so bad. So it allows you to rest and adjust and have your wrist. You can do it in other ways. I know you can wear gloves and you can put something under your wrist and shit. But most people won't do that and don't do that. This is a lot more comfortable. You can put it wherever you want it to. It has macro support, which is useful for a lot of video games too, and to some degree.
It's even
You can do
useful for
loadouts for
non-video
games.
games.
Yeah, it can
So-
be used for anything.
I'm gonna need a harder sell than that because.
my mouse for. I have all the buttons on the side for that on my mouse.
So hang on, let's get to mice in a little bit. So what I actually do for my keyboard is I actually take it. Let's say this is my keyboard, right? And I take it and I just I tilt it. I take it and then I tilt it. You know,
Good
and then
old
it's
the-
comfortable. Yeah, so it's sitting like this, right? So you're like kind of like this, and then all of a sudden you take it and you just tilt it, and then it feels better.
Yes,
what do
but
you
look
do?
at your
Do you-
hand right now. You're creating a claw form, which is closing in all of your veins in your wrist, and over time, it's not good for you.
No, I know.
With a gamepad, you're resting it flat the whole
You're
time.
absolutely right. I have
You can
arthritis
do that
in
yeah.
both my hands.
And I'm not saying it's impossible to get
And
that
that's from
posture on a
gaming.
keyboard. It is, but it's very difficult, and most people won't do it. The gamepad forces you to be ergonomically correct while you're playing.
I will sell you on the fact that you can use macros to automate a good 80% of your MMO time and rotation.
Well,
You can
look,
do that on
my
keyboards too.
No,
you can.
my Logitech G910 will macro anything. So
Kurt has like a little like beanbag thing that sits under his wrist when he's needs to put for ergonomic purposes.
for the old man stuffs.
So let's move into Mises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Kurt is kind of a whiny bitch about mouses.
What do you got? Like you got the ball mouse where it's all comfortable and
He's
shit?
also a graphic designer, so I
No,
expect that
no.
part of-
I prefer razors.
He prefers razors.
I do
They
too.
make
Actually,
that big ball
this
mouse
is
where you
this
can,
is the mouse that I like for work. It's just the Death Adder, which is
Mhm.
currently just sitting on my desk because I'm not using it. But I recently had bought this is not a gaming hardware, but Microsoft makes this. I forget what it's fucking called, but it looks like a goddamn like a little grapefruit.
Yeah.
But it's just like a little it's like a little like sphere.
The ergonomic ball mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
so I
what-
have that at work now.
that's
Yeah,
what I keep
we have
saying
those
over
too.
and over again. And
I don't
No
use a
one's-
mouse. I use
We're
a
thinking you're talking about
Wacom
track
tablet.
mouse.
no,
Because I'm
not the
a-
old
No,
school
no.
shit where you got to pull the lint out of.
So wait,
Here's the-
Oreztes, what do you use?
Use a Wacom tablet.
He
You
uses a
not use
Wacom
a
tablet
Wacom.
for FPSs.
You
I do, that's
you
why
don't
I'm
use
so good.
Wacom tablet, do you?
I will only use it.
Headshot.
I will
Headshot.
only use it in my PvP. That's the only way I will ever use that.
You draw a circle around their heads and
Yeah.
then you shoot.
Yeah. No, you just tap on their head, and that's where you
Okay.
shoot.
Here I got my little Intuos.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or this is the bamboo, I think.
Okay, so
I think
those are
most
for-
of us are using MMO mice, which is something that, admittedly, I think anyone that ever uses an MMO mouse for the first 4 or 5 days of it, they want to throw it against the wall and they think it's the dumbest shit ever and they hate it. And then by about the 7th or 8th day, you will never ever use another mouse.
I hated my mouse. I hated it. I was
Yeah,
angry.
I think everyone
hated
does.
it.
Everyone hates them at
Yeah, I
first,
can't.
and then you can't live without it.
Night
So what's an
Suns-
MMO? What's an MMO mouse?
With the 10 key on the side.
with the keys on the
No,
side.
no, I know what it is. I'm saying
it has macroable keys that you use with your thumb that you can map to keys to your keyboard.
That is true. We do
So-
put this out as a podcast. I guess we shouldn't just keep holding shit up. We should talk about it.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So they have the they have 12 programmable keys in the 3x4 grid, like the 10 key would, that you press with your thumb, that sit under where your thumb would sit.
Night Suns he's gotten to the point where he uses it as his 10 key.
Yeah.
Is on the side of his mouth. But he was also saying the mouse that he uses is the UTech Venus.
I actually have that because he gave me his. 'cause
It's
my
actually
mouse died for a
bigger.
second.
Like it's wider on the hand. So I think if
Yeah,
you
the
have really
Venus
big
is a
hands,
good
it
mouse.
could be really
It
comfortable.
is cheap. I have a Venus as my backup mouse if this one breaks. That's the mouse that I bought that Nightsun uses just for backup. I prefer the Razer, but if in a pinch, the Venus is a perfectly fine mouse. It has all the same macroable abilities.
I am currently using a generic $10 mouse that I got off of Amazon because when I rage, I like slamming my mouse on my desk, and I just can't justify slamming a $120 MMO mouse on my desk when I get upset at a game.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
The other
So
option
playing
is to
Division
not
2.
slam your mouse.
But why would I do
for-
that?
So for those of you out there that are gamers and you rage,
Don't get these things.
don't buy computers.
Yeah.
Don't-
Just have a cheap mouse that you use for that game
Yeah.
that makes you rage, but you want to play with your friends, and then trade it
Yeah.
out.
or
Yeah.
pro
You
tip,
know what?
don't play that game.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no. What I'm gonna do is eventually we are going to trademark. By the way, nobody steal this. We are going to Pixel Scandal is going to develop and
A mouse wrapped in bubble wrap.
no, it's a collapsible. Do you remember the old school test dummies, whatever, and you could run the car into stuff and it would
Oh yeah.
break apart. You could put it back
test
together.
dummies?
Yeah, we're
Crash
gonna like
test
test mice
dummy
by having
mice.
Oreztes slam them on the thing and say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how Oreztes proof is this mouse?
Yeah. So
The mouse is fine, but I think I broke my wrist.
the mouse itself is gonna collapse, and then you'll
It'll
just be
feel
able to
so
like
satisfying, though. It'll be
Yeah.
like, I'm
Oh,
mad,
that'd be great.
grr, and you're like, man, that's so
Click.
good.
Yeah.
So to
Yeah,
get back to the MMO mouse thing, I
Okay,
want to say
sorry.
one last thing. If you're the kind of person that's only playing first person shooters and the first person shooter you're playing doesn't have the need for a lot of buttons, like you need shoot and aim down sights and maybe one or two other things, 3 or 4 other things, don't bother. There are much better mice that you can get that's going to be a lot more suitable for what you're doing. That's why they call it an MMO mouse. But most games nowadays have a lot of systems and a lot of buttons. Like the days of the 5 action button video games on PC are kind of gone.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only so much real estate on your mouse, and you have these games where you need to have 1 through 0, and then shift
Yeah.
1 through 0, and then alt 1 through
For
0.
real.
Like this makes it so much.
I mean,
easier.
I feel like 1 through 0 is an extended amount of keys.
yeah. Like how can you reach all?
1 through 0 is like literally just 2 keys.
Yeah.
So it just makes any game, not necessarily just MMO games, but any game that has a fairly decent amount of keys that you need to map.
Mhm.
I have my left hand on my Orweave, my right hand on my mouse, and unless I'm chatting with people, I don't touch my keyboard at all. My hand's rested in the same place all the time, and
I
it's
got my
so
right-
much more comfortable.
You know what would be great? If they
Damn it.
put a little optical mouse on the bottom of the Orweaver so we could just use the whole thing and just move that around.
Move
And then
a gigantic.
I could just
fucking-
keep my left hand on that and then my right hand down my pants.
It wouldn't be it wouldn't be the most awful
I
thing
knew
in the
that's
world
where you were going with that. I knew that's where you were going with that.
if moving the left controller did like the camera,
Yeah.
the right moved your aiming or whatever.
This
Yeah.
thing is chunky, dude. This thing is got a metal frame on it. I wouldn't want to move that around.
Okay,
No, I
so
wouldn't
let's move to monitors. So high res versus not. What do you
Do
what
not
you guys
invest
think?
in 4K right now.
Or 3D.
This is someone that has a $1,300 4K ultra wide monitor. I love it to death. Do not buy one unless you're like me and just really want one.
The number of times we have to go into a test prior to going live
Streaming?
or whatever.
Oh, dude, streaming
And we
has
have
been a nightmare with this monitor.
and we have to deal with Endo going, fuck, shit, I can't get this fucking monitor to fucking work.
It's not even just that. It's video games in general are not ready for this monitor. If I had to go back and buy it again, I'll be honest, I wouldn't. But I have it now, and I do love the monitor. I really do. But it's
probably
a lot of trouble.
It took 30 minutes.
It's gorgeous in Division 2. Beautiful.
It took 30 minutes to figure out where on top of the monitor he could set his camera.
Yeah, it did.
To make it point
at him. Yeah.
But 4K is still way too expensive for what it is and what it contributes. It also requires you to have a pretty robust rig to support it, which, you know, if you do, and you're an early adopter and you're spending like $1,400 on your PC and you really want a 4K monitor, I'm not going to say the quality isn't significantly better. I personally, it is. For me, I definitely noticed the difference. However, is it worth the amount of money unless you really, really want it? Not at all. Not at all. There's much better ways to invest your money.
I have to assume 4K is going to come around the same way that
of course.
What was it? LCD to or from what was it? It was one type of monitor that was
plasma.
Yeah, from plasma to, you know, your LCD. LCD came out and it just changed the game, and the prices of having a slim option tremendously dropped. And it was
the monitors are basically going to go along the continuum that every piece of technology does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything does, right?
Yeah. The price will come down.
There are much better ways to invest your money in your gaming rig. Your CPU is I would say your CPU is now officially more important than your GPU. By the way, when we say GPU, we're talking about your graphics processor, which is your video.
Mm-hmm.
I would dare say right now, games have become far more reliant on your CPU than your GPU at this.
Yeah.
Your CPU and honestly, the biggest bang for your buck for the lowest amount of spending money is a nice solid state drive, like an M.2 solid state drive. If your motherboard supports it, yes, get one. It's you will not regret it. It's a cheap investment for an enormous amount of performance, with loading games and just how it's storing, caching things on your hard drive, and then reusing textures and assets on your video game directory, et cetera, et cetera.
It's literally set up. Sorry, it's literally set up so it's like right off of the RAM in the CPU, so that it's communicating that much faster, as opposed to sitting off of a cable stored up into some position in your tower. It's communicating. It's getting those communications between those two connections. So it's rapid fire as opposed to, But anyways, what you were saying?
Well, I was just going to say that I'm really glad that you brought up solid state drives, because that's such a no-brainer for us that we didn't even put it in the doc as something to consider, because we all have solid state drives. And so I'm glad you brought that up, because that is something that, if you're going to be building a gaming computer, you have to have a solid state drive. That's just like...
Yeah, I'm surprised that didn't happen sooner. With the advent of being able to carry a USB, or what are they called?
Thumb drive.
Like
a thumb drive.
Yeah.
And the fact that Apple created solid state early on with their iPods, it's the reason you're able to jostle those things around and still listen to music day after day.
I have an iPod where you can still hear the thing is spinning inside it.
Yeah, you have an iPod Classic, right?
I have a really old one in the closet somewhere.
Whereas the days of a spooling platinum disc spinning at 52,000 RPMs and accidentally bumping your CPU or bumping your computer, and you're
what you know about that, Kurt?
Shut up.
What you know about that bumping that desk and disc head crashing your heart?
I know you can shut your goddamn mouth.
If you are a ragey gamer, it is a necessity that you have a solid state drive, because if you don't, one good punch to the desk just kills the whole machine.
Yeah. Well, or you just move the computer onto the ground like I did.
Yes.
Yeah. So
a lot more stable platform.
The days of having to replace, and if you look, this is for those of you that are PC gamers, the days of having to deal with constantly dreading the day that your hard drive is going to fail is essentially over, because with a solid state drive, we really don't know.
I've yet to have an SSD die.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know the lifespan of SSD yet.
We buy bigger ones, but we don't.
Right,
They don't
right.
die.
So
It's like, oh, I want
So-
two in my
Very
machine
first.
now.
My very
And then your
first-
old one just becomes additional storage space.
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
What were you
yeah,
gonna say,
here's-
Oreztes?
I was saying my very first SSD on the last computer that I built that had an SSD when it was like brand new kind of technology, and the biggest you can get was 256.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a 128 gig one that I put my operating system on. That one died. So if I turn on that computer, it'll say, "Hey, you want to boot into Windows 7 on your SSD?" And I say, "Yeah." And then it comes on for about 3 seconds, and then it just shuts off. I
Huh.
was like, whatever, I don't care.
Okay.
So there's one SSD that went bad.
Well, we kind of skipped over this when we were talking about mice, but wireless versus wired.
Wireless,
your-
wired. I mean wired. I meant wired. Nobody
gonna
gets
say, what?
wireless mice for
You
gaming.
were just about to get fucking flamed so hard right
I
now.
have wireless everything, and I use them all wired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair. If you're so let me put it to you this way.
Wireless headset, notice the cable, it's wired. Wireless
Yeah.
mouse, it's wired.
Right.
I don't know
Yeah.
why. I always forget to charge them, and then it becomes more of a pain in the ass for me. And the wires just don't bother me that much.
I use
Yeah.
I have a
So-
wireless monitor, but I use it wired also.
Yeah, wireless 4K monitor.
Yeah.
So what's the what's the point of making sure that your peripherals are wired? Why are we doing that?
Well, one, they
Well-
can't die in the middle of a dungeon.
Yeah,
So there's that.
wireless
There's
is
also-
purely a convenience factor.
Yeah.
If you want your desk to be very clean and not see a bunch of wires, and your computer and the dongles are relatively close to your hardware, and that's something that's important to you, you should 100% go wireless. You will pay more for it, but you should 100% do it. If it's not something that bothers you and you don't want to have any potential for disruption or being too far from your dongle, missing movements, or having some kind of stutter or delay in your hardware, then just suck it up and deal with the wires. But honestly, it's 99% of preference.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say more like 80%, because there is.
Wireless is
There's
pretty darn strong now, man. Like,
Yeah.
No, it is.
I don't
It
think
is
most people
real
have
good.
issues with it anymore.
But you will never see League of Legends tournament or Rocket League or any of those things wireless. I don't think for at least another 10 years, anyways. Because
but I mean,
What we need to get
or-
is wireless charging
I
Because-
for
will
wireless.
never see those wireless because I will never watch those, period.
because of that 3 millisecond delay, and some people can feel that. I mean, we're old, we can't, but some people can feel that,
Speak for
4
yourself.
millisecond response.
I'm not old.
Well, you'll be in a couple days.
Ooh, my God.
I'll take it. It's fine.
I switched to using a wireless mouse at work, that puck thing I was talking about,
Yeah.
and I can feel the lag, but it's not it's rare enough that I'm okay with it.
Yeah. If I'm playing a first-person shooter like Division and stuff like, or whatever it is, third-person shooter, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Whenever
Something
there's
highly responsive and very action oriented and quick response.
Yeah. The very second that there is a miscommunication or a lag between my mouse and my movement, I feel disconnected, and
It's like watching a TV show where like the mouths don't line up with the sound, and you're like, ah.
yeah.
It's like trying to play
You know what
a
it is?
game with that
I
kind
can't
of
use wireless mice because I rage and throw them across the room, and then I have to get up and go get it.
Yeah, that too. So you know what it is? It's the same annoyance to me as when you call somebody and you get that feedback to where it's like, hey Jerry, how's it going? Hey Jerry, how's it? And you hear yourself and you're like, fucking no,
like the echo we were trying to locate today.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
So last
It's
but
just
not
annoying.
least on the list of things for computers is obviously sound. So what is
Onboard sound
everyone's-
cards are perfectly fine. As long as your onboard sound is Realtek or using the NVIDIA onboard, it's perfectly fine. Unless
I
you're
mean-
an audiophile,
Yeah.
you're not going to really notice a difference.
But if you're an
Although-
audiophile, you're probably going to spend more money on your headphones than your audio.
Yeah, and here's the thing: if it's really that big of a freaking deal for you, dude, you can get a nice Sound Blaster Auto-G sound card for like $30. Like, go nuts if that's what you want. I bought one about 3 months ago, and it didn't work with my computer, and I had to send it back. I have no idea. I just gave it.
So, I mean, we're all wearing headphones right now. I mean, do you guys wear headphones when you're gaming?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what are you
Even
wearing?
when I'm playing by myself.
So what are you wearing right now?
Mm-hmm. A Logitech Artemis
What are you
Snow.
wearing, guys?
And then I also have a Corsair
Who dressed you?
headset that I really
I
really
am
like.
wearing some generic.
Who are you wearing?
I am wearing some generic in-ear white earbuds, but they are running through my HyperX Cloud 212 Dolby 7.1 external friggin' card thingy.
Mm-hmm.
It's got all the inline controls that came with my sweet.
Gidget's
HyperX
using some
headphones.
Pro Gamer Skull Candy headphones.
I am totally using some super cute skull candy ones.
Do you know what's? I
was kidding. Are you really?
Yeah, bitch, totally am.
Oh my
Are they
god,
the
I was
gel
joking.
ones?
Dude,
Are they the gel ones?
dude,
Oh man, that's too funny.
can you see my little
Yeah.
headset?
Guess who buys his headphones?
I was literally
They're
joking.
skull candy.
These are my $13 Walmart
You
skull
guys
candies.
have
'cause
headsets.
No,
though.
we do
yeah.
have headsets, but here's the thing.
I
Normally
actually
when we're
don't.
playing, yeah, you do. You just don't like
I
wearing
don't
it.
wear over the ear because I can't get them big enough. Like my ears
So-
are all big. and
Okay,
they get
but here's
smushed.
the other thing. We typically play video games together, so
Yeah.
we usually just use one person keeps their sound on, one person has open mic to Discord, and then we hang out because we're all in the same room. And why wear big headphones? Because we're sitting next to each other. So
I will say these HyperX, these cloud ones that are like actually my legit gaming headphones are really awesome, but I stopped using them when we forced Gidget to go get her ear pierced because I had
These are my
to, as a show of solidarity, also get my ear pierced, and it is very hard to wear over the ear headphones when you have a piercing brand new in your ear because it hurts.
That is
You know
also
what's funny?
probably
I-
not hygienic and safe.
I
Yeah.
bought
have
these
these.
skull candy headphones instead of my actual gamer headset because of the piercing, because it kept pushing on it for that first like 2 months I had it in. And so I only have one side in because I realized that in-ear earbuds don't fit with my Dave piercing, so I can't even wear an earbud on the side. So I only wear one because I can't put it in.
Some people will recognize this brand.
Reversed on cam, but
Yeah, they're Sennheisers, and
They're good. stuff.
yeah, for years I went, with the Logitech gaming headset.
Thanks, Night Sun.
stereo sound is overrated.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the other thing is Kurt's in the room.
That's that
and
newfangled FM.
I wouldn't be able to hear him if I had both earbuds in either. So it's,
Yeah, that's the thing that would kill me. I'm really used to the 7.1 headset now.
Look,
Yeah,
if
I
they
have
can't
one
fit
on
everything
this
I
one.
need to hear into one channel, I'm just not interested.
Yeah. If I can't hear it in one ear, it's just not worth hearing. Sorry.
So for me, I went with headsets, the gaming headsets and so on and so forth, and I ended up, tearing through a lot of them.
Because you rage at your headphones.
I do not rage at my head. I take them.
Beat yourself
I
in the
take
head.
them. I take them on and off frequently.
Yeah.
Pro strategy. And I know everyone's going to cringe at this, but hear me out for a second. Buy your headsets and your mice from Best Buy.
Oh, no, that's true.
Buy them from Best Buy.
Oh, I know what you're
Get
going to
their
say.
no question asked warranty. Get the 2-year no questions asked warranty. And then about 3 months before set a calendar reminder for yourself. And then 3 months before your warranty expires, bring them back and say, hey, they're not working right. And when they say what's not working with it, say it doesn't matter. I have a warranty on it. And then you replace it for something better, and you pay the difference because they give you up to what you paid for it. So even if they've depreciated, you still get all of your money back with a gift card. And then you buy another headset. You say, okay, I wanted the 2-year warranty on these. This is my 6th or 7th mouse, and these are probably my 8th or 9th headset in the last 11 to 12 years.
Well,
All on a same payment of warranty change.
Yeah,
Over
do
and over.
that.
So that is
Honestly, do
how
that.
Nerd Cub commits fraud.
It's not fraud. The warranty
just-
usually says whatever is going on with them. Like last time, my cable frayed on it, and it said the cable's crimping, it's pinching. It's like, yeah, okay, replace it.
Yeah.
They'll say what's wrong with it, and you say it doesn't matter.
Well, it
Matter,
doesn't.
bitch, I have a
It says
warranty.
it literally says that no matter what it is, whatever issue you're having with the device, it doesn't matter. Even if physically drop it, you break it, they replace it. So every time they ask me, they say, "You're asking me why it's broken. Your warranty says it doesn't matter, so it doesn't."
Yes,
just replace
Nightson,
it.
he is leasing his headset and his mice from
I am.
Best Buy.
That is exactly what is happening.
Yeah, normally I would advise that you don't get into leasing.
Dude, I have saved
It's not a bad idea.
I have saved probably multiple $1,000s in hardware.
Yeah.
By doing this.
In this case, when it's not a $32,000 car or $40,000 car, or it's not renting an apartment and you're just constantly spending money when you could be saving. But yeah, when you're talking about $300 headsets every few months, $10 a month is obviously you're fucking saving money.
Yeah. I mean, my headset, I have never had a headset last me in pristine working condition for more than 2 years in my entire life. I'm rough on my hardware. I know that.
Yeah.
But 2 years, something's wrong with it. The
You
cable's
fidget a lot,
pinched or it's fraying. Yeah, I do. I fidget a lot.
Yeah.
I hang them on my desk and stuff happens to them. But within a 2 year period, that extra $10, $15 warranty will pay itself in dividends every single time.
Yeah, for sure.
So, real talk, I know everyone hates Best Buy, but when it comes to buying this type of equipment that tends to break relatively easily every couple of years, it's worth it.
And the thing is, too, they're made from plastic, and they're made to... that stuff is going to wear down. I mean, that's what do you expect?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, cool. Does anybody have any final thoughts on gaming hardware that we didn't maybe cover up to this point?
I think we were a little off the rails a couple times, but we summed it up pretty nicely, I think.
If you are interested in building a computer and it's something you feel like you are interested in doing, it is the best thing to do for building a new gaming rig. There are a lot of resources out there. There are entire subreddits dedicated to helping you build a computer. You can go post a budget that you have, what kind of games you're looking to play, and those guys and girls will help you put something together in PC Park Builder. They will do the benchmarking with you. They'll get in Discord with you. They're actually extremely helpful. I've helped 2 or 3 people on that subreddit.
I was going to say, or you do what I do, which is email endofline@pixelscandal.com.
No, please don't.
I was going to say,
I mean, that's what I do. I don't know if you guys should do that, but that's what I do.
She's lying. She doesn't do that. She just gets on Discord and is like, Endo, I need a computer.
Yeah, that's true.
Fix it. I would say my advice would
I
be
got
don't waste.
direct access.
I would say don't waste $1,400 on a super big monitor. Go get an HTC Vive.
Dear end of line at pixelscandal.com. Will this motherboard run my 4K monitor?
Reply all. Let me Google that for you.
Do we currently have a Patreon level that would permit people access to our Discord?
To end of line?
We do have a Patreon level that would permit people access to our
Discord.
Discord.
Our Discord is available on our Patreon.
Yeah.
So, look, if you're a fan and you're looking to get into a new PC, you could potentially subscribe to our Patreon and come to our Discord and ask us there advice on how to build your new PC.
Handor has offered himself.
If someone Patreons to get in our Discord, anyone in our Discord can ask any of us any question. We will respond. So technically that is true. If you get on our Discord, I would be happy.
If that happens, make sure you preface your message with, "Hey guys, I just subscribed on Patreon," so that I don't say, "Who the fuck is this guy?" I'll probably say that anyways. I just won't say it out.
I was going to say, you're going to say that anyway.
That's our standard greeting.
Yeah.
What version of this MacBook will run Crisis? Will run all my video games. I want a gaming MacBook.
Can you tell people where to find us on the internet?
I probably could. Well, if people want to find us on the internet, they can go to pixelscandal.com and they can find back episodes of this show. They can find links to our social media like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, where I post cool pictures of minis that Gigett paints. They can find links to our audio feed, so they can listen to this as an audio podcast in iTunes or through Podbean or Google Play Store or whatever pod receptacle they like. They can find links to email us and contact us. Pixelscandal.com, pixelscandal@gmail.com, or we have a contact form on the site. And and they can find links to support us if they want to head over to Twitch and sub, or go to our Patreon and toss us, become a backer. There's some reward tiers there with different information about things. If we hit certain breakpoints, we're gonna start doing some upgrades to the show and upgrade some of our software or hardware and things like that. So
Our table is coming.
yeah,
Our table
we're gonna
Actual
build a
plays
table.
are
So.
coming.
More
So we can do
importantly,
some like recording
Handor is
board
coming to
games and
visit.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bringing
good
a
stuff.
table.
It is more important that Handor is coming, but the Handor coming does not contribute to what he's speaking about. The table does.
Well, awesome, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We will see you next weekend, 8 p.m. PST, Pixel Scandal time, for our last night show. And then we'll be moving to Sundays starting April 14th. So we will see you then. See you next week.
Do we know what our topic is next week?
I'm sure we do.
The topic is hurry the hell up. World Tier 5 came out, and I need to get back to Division.
I'm certain that is
Yeah.
not the topic.
All right, guys. We will see you next time. See you next Saturday.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.